As a Marine, I did not have any kind of living faith until I was about 2 years from ending my military contract, and it caused me enormous moral struggle. Here you are trained as a warrior, basically to kill and destroy, and yet we want to live this life that's reflected and exampled by the life of Jesus. And so there's this contradictory kind of thing that you really struggle with. I find that there is a real dichotomy. This is where religion may not necessarily answer our question for us. God certainly used military force to accomplish his goals. So if we just go with that, we're sort of given the idea that maybe it's okay. If we look at it from a different angle, Jesus ushers in a whole new era in faith and our response to God, and so he calls for peace. If we simply look to the Bible, then we have to kind of advocate that, that God was fairly clear and Jesus might have been silent on the issue. He doesn't tell the Roman soldier to get out of the military. He basically heals his son and sends him on his way. I think there's a tendency to look at the military or war as a very simple issue, and it's way more complex. It's not just a brutal tete-a-tete, but it's actually a conflict of culture and religion and politics and economics that are affecting this rather than just simplified war as something that we can either take or leave. I think what we often miss is that some of the greatest things that have been accomplished in the world in terms of bringing peace or change have fallen on the doorsteps of military action. When you look at the Cold War, brought the Berlin Wall down in 1989. In the 1860s, there were almost 1 million lives that were shed here in our own country that were basically the premise for the freedom and abolition of slavery in America. So freedom and change comes at a tremendous cost. Look at what Bill Clinton's biggest regret was. Lack of military action in Rwanda, and it cost Rwanda 800,000 lives, and a conflict that still continues to this day in terms of the trauma that was bled out on a country. And yet here we are, years and years and years into the Iraqi conflict, and we're not really seeing a tail end to it. And so, kind of two sides of a coin of how complex I think both the initiation and the regret can be on both sides of war.